Once upon a time, in a small village called Adodo, there was a 10-year-old girl named Yetunde. She was a bright and well-behaved child, the apple of her father's eye. Her mother Fiki was strict and often reminded her to always do her best and to avoid bringing shame to their family. Yetunde's father Adola, on the other hand, was as soft as a marshmallow towards her. He saw no wrong in her and was always ready to give her whatever she wanted, dreaming of the day she would become a doctor in the big city. Yetunde finished secondary school at only 16, and her father was already excitedly making plans for her university admission while saving every penny he could. He would even sell his possessions to see his daughter in school. Yetunde also had big dreams studying medicine and making her dad proud. She had a good friend named Jay who also just finished secondary school and hoped to study law. His auntie was living abroad and had promised to help him study there. Now Fiki wasn't very fond of how close Yetunde and Jay had become. She thought boys and girls shouldn't be friends. After all, their hearts might lead them into trouble. She sat down with Yetunde one day, telling her to be cautious and keep her distance from Jay. "You're not a child anymore," she said, "and you know what can happen if you're not careful." Yetunde understood and promised to listen to her mother. Well, not long after that, Jay got amazing news: he was accepted to study abroad. He shared his excitement with Yetunde, and while she was happy for him, her heart sank at the thought of him leaving. "I'll miss you," she said sadly. He hugged her and reassured her that they would both achieve their dreams and he would come back. But emotions got the best of them, and one day, while they were alone at Jay's house, their feelings led to a kiss. And just like that, their lives spiraled. Jay left for his studies and Yetunde was utterly heartbroken. Fiki noticed Yetunde wasn't her usual bubbly self and she felt relieved that the boy had left. But as days turned into weeks, Yetunde's sadness only deepened. She barely ate and rarely left the house. Fiki decided she needed to take action. One day she found Yetunde very ill in bed. After racing to the hospital, a doctor delivered shocking news: Yetunde was showing signs of early pregnancy. Fiki couldn't believe her ears. She rushed to find Yetunde crying and devastated. They searched for another doctor for confirmation, but the truth was undeniable. Their lives were about to change forever. When Adola came home excited about Yetunde's university admission, his joy quickly turned to confusion upon seeing Fiki's grim expression. "What's going on?" he asked. Fiki handed him the pregnancy report. His world came crashing down as he learned his daughter was pregnant. "Tell me this isn't true," he pleaded as Yetunde hung her head in shame, unable to reply. When Yetunde finally admitted Jay was the father, Adola's rage was unleashed. Fiki, desperate to defuse the situation, begged Adola to give Yetunde a second chance. They decided she could defer her admission for a year, but she had to take responsibility for her actions. Yetunde swore to still become a doctor, vowing to make her father proud. However, all was not well. Yetunde went into labor and complications arose. Tragically, she passed away shortly after giving birth to a baby girl named Eno. Adola was shattered. His hopes for Yetunde's future had been snatched away. Fiki, despite her grief, had to step up and take care of her granddaughter. The years passed. Eno grew up knowing her grandfather was sour on life, but she loved him regardless. Adola, still carrying the weight of his daughter's loss, treated Eno with coldness. He couldn't see her for the beautiful child she was, only reminding him of what he had lost. Then came a terrible night. Adola's anger spiraled further out of control. He crossed a line and Eno faced unspeakable horrors. Fiki worried that her granddaughter noticed changes in Eno but thought she was just being a moody preteen. Until one fateful day, Eno collapsed and Fiki rushed her to the hospital, discovering that the cycle of pain was repeating. It was a nightmare come true. Enter Jay, who had become a successful lawyer and returned home only to hear about Yetunde's tragic story and find out he had a daughter he never knew existed. He rushed to the hospital filled with regret, wanting to right the wrongs of the past, but first he needed to protect Eno from the monster who was her grandfather. The confrontation led to a revelation, and Adola's terrible secret came to light. In a fit of rage fueled by alcohol, Adola met an unfortunate end that day, leaving Eno and Fiki with the opportunity to rebuild their lives. Now, years later, as Jay cared for Eno, they were finally free from the shadows of the past. Eno, inspired by her mother's dreams, grew up and became a doctor. And through this rocky journey, the message of hope and resilience shone bright. Children should feel safe, loved, and protected. So share this story far and wide. Let's raise awareness against child abuse and teenage pregnancy. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. Together we can make a difference.